Hello, everybody. Welcome to AP Calculus BC with Mr. Delamorte. I'm the one that's in the upper right-hand screen. Hopefully, it's the upper right hand on your side. I just want to talk a little bit about myself, about my course, and then provide you with some contact information at the end in case you have any further questions. So, AP Calculus BC, a lot of people ask, well, what is it? What is it about? So AP Calculus is BC is worth 2 semesters of college calculus. It does have a sister class, AB, which is only worth 1 semester of college calculus. But you do have to take the AP exam at the end of the school year in order to receive those credits. Now, just kind of another thing, difference between AB and BC. Calculus BC expands over 10 units of study, where Calc AB expands over 7 units of study. So in Calc BC, we go pretty fast. We have to complete all the content by May. So the pacing of this course is very, very brisk. Okay. Just some other little things about the course and about expectations, right? I'm going to go through just some stuff about Zoom, the daily schedule, exploring Google Classroom a little bit, and then about my contact information. So as far as Zoom expectations, if you can encourage your students to make sure they're on time, dressed appropriately, that they come prepared to class, that means they have something to write with, something to write on, and ultimately that they have respect for others in class. The last two are probably the most important. Be engaged. Ask questions if you need help. It's very difficult during this remote learning time for students to really advocate for themselves when they're in need. So I really want you to encourage them. I'm very forgiving on things. I like to answer questions, and ultimately, I am here to make sure your son or daughter are successful in my course. So please talk to them about being engaged, asking for help when they need to, and we're going to talk about some different ways in which they can do that. Okay. As far as Zoom, Zoom is the platform that our school has used, has adopted. So just there's some expectations that go along with that. I know a lot of students don't feel comfortable sharing the video of their face. Have them log in. When they log in, make sure it's their first and last name. There's a chat feature I'll get into in a minute. Have them, if they don't want to talk to me with their voice, put their questions in the chat. Use your school issued Chromebook. Our district has licenses to a lot of resources that the kids can use, but those licenses require certain login information, and things just run a lot smoother if they use their Chromebook. I do ask that a lot of students keep themselves on mute, just in case there's any background noise, dogs barking, kids crying, others, siblings on a different Zoom call. So I do ask that they keep themselves on mute. Unless they have a question, then by all means, unmute yourself, ask your question. I'm happy to hear from you. Make sure the backgrounds are appropriate. There are some instances where they'll have the opportunity to change their virtual background to different pictures. Just make sure those are appropriate. And then, before you go to bed, charge your Chromebook up, make sure it's plugged in and ready to go. Kind of go from there. Okay. So one thing I want all parents and students to know is, in order for you to get on Zoom, I did post a link into my Google Classroom. I'll get into Google Classroom in a minute. But that link is in Google Classroom. All they have to do is on the left-hand side, click Zoom meetings, and they will see it there. I will have office hours. I will have a variety of things that they can, click on in order to get a hold of me during different times of the day. While in Zoom, okay, if you can encourage your son or daughter, there's an unmute button. If they have a question, all they have to do is press this or hold down the space bar and they can talk. I can hear everything that they're saying. I will respond to it, just like if they were to ask a question in class. I would like this to be as much like a traditional class as we can, just through the computer screen. Also, they can start and stop their video display. So they can either turn on their video so I can see their facial expressions, or they can hold up work or a variety of things. Encourage your son or daughter to turn on that webcam. I am a person that builds off of the interactions with my students. So the more I can see them, the better that class will go. There's also a chat feature on the toolbar where they can click the chat, they can type messages to me, they can send it only to me, or they can send it out to the entire class. So they can pose a question to the class, or if they have a comment, question, or concern, they can message me in private and I can get to them in the middle of class. And then lastly, there's a green button, it's share. Sometimes when I'm helping a student, it's easier for me to have them share their screen. If they're working on a particular task, I can see what they're working on. What's the old phrase? Picture's worth 1,000 words. If they're having a hard time sharing what it is that they're trying to talk about, they can just show me, and then I can hop in and help them in any way that they need. Okay. We will work in a collaborative environment, so I will put them in breakout rooms. I will have them work on their assignments. So usually those breakout rooms have anywhere from 3 to 5 people in them, of where they can bounce ideas, they can share their answers, they can see if they're doing right. There is always a little button that says ask for help. When they click that, it signals me to come into their breakout room, and then I, of course, can answer the group's questions that they might have. So I can share my screen, they can share theirs. We have all the same tools, but it's in a smaller classroom environment. It's kind of like in the normal classroom, if they're sitting in their groups, it's a way for them to call me in and we can work together on stuff. The daily schedule you've probably seen in other sessions. There are orange days and blue days. AP Calculus runs 5th hour, so I will see them every blue day. So periods 4, 5, 6, and 7. Period 5 is from 9:10 to 10:10, and we can kind of work from there. On this calendar are all the blue days in which we will meet. Fingers crossed, this whole remote learning thing ends on the 23rd, when I can start to see them in person, and the conversations can become a little bit more engaging. As far as remote learning, I haven't had any problem in my AP classes. However, just because a student signs into Zoom does not mean they're necessarily present for class. They need to engage with the class period. So whether it's they have their camera on and they're following along with me, they can unmute for discussion purposes. They can bounce ideas, or they can just participate in live work. But I need to see some sort of engagement in order to mark them present in class. If your camera's off, if I don't hear from you and you don't turn in any work, ultimately, were you really in class? Just because you joined the Zoom link does not mean that you are necessarily present in a mental sense for class. Okay, so Google Classroom. So this is the Google Class. On the stream, you'll have a stream tab. Everything kind of gets put in there. So if there's any updates, if I put any announcements out to the class, they can see those, as well as there's a classwork tab at the top. All of my notes, my assignments, all of those things, videos, tutorial videos, get posted in that classwork tab for them to access. So I try to make everything public for them. You can even see on this screen, I posted my summative assessment. We just took the Chapter 1 test, so I posted that summative assessment up there for them to see it. Normally, the test isn't there for them to access until we're ready to take it. But I try to get all my notes and tutorial videos up there as quickly as I can during this remote learning time. Okay. If you ever need to get a hold of me, my phone number is 815-407-5146. My email address is delamorterj@vvsd.org. I would love to engage in communication, or to open the lines of communication between all students and parents. So feel free to contact me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I would love to hear from you, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So that's about all I have. I hope you guys reach out, and we have a wonderful semester of remote learning. Have a wonderful day.